We are preparing to live stream. Okay. There we go. We are now live streaming on YouTube. Welcome, 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 welcome. Hello, everybody. Good evening, good evening, good evening. So we're just going to give it a minute. Hello, everybody. Right, so we are up and we are just going to give it a little bit of time while people find us. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to The Virtuous Life. Tonight we are talking about kindness. We've got the incredible X family with us. As usual, beautiful, beautiful beings are here to spread their wisdom and their gnosis. So, hello, Joe. So nice of you to have you with us. Hey, Gav, nice to have you here. So, guys, I'm going to ask a favor from my Dharma community, you amazing creatures, you. Could you please share this link for me? I'd really appreciate it. Hello from Canada. Hello, Sheila. Excellent. So people are jumping on. So while people jump on, do you want to give us a bit of an update? You guys are back with us in the motherland, which is fantastic.
Yes. A couple of days ago we arrived on UK soil.
And you brought the weather?
Yeah.
Yes.
We made sure that we made the clouds disappear. And we are here for a few months while we see family and arrange certain things, and then we're off on a new adventure.
And you see certain other people as well. Hi. We're looking forward to your visit.
We're excited to see you.
Well, thank you so much for bringing the weather. It's amazing here at the moment. This is the best weather we've had for goodness. Can't tell you. So yeah, it's just the way it should be all year round.
We made sure we manifested it. We brought it home from Spain.
Fantastic. Excellent. So we've got a few more people jumping on. Hello, Trevor, Eddie. Nice to have you with us. Tash, Claire, Fly on the Wall. What a cool name. Richard, good evening. Engaged Reiki. Hello, XFam. Grateful for the knowledge. Fantastic. So people are just joining us. So little recap. If for you guys watching, obviously, as you know, this is our virtues series, and we are going through every single virtue, and we are explaining to you about the different virtues, and we are explaining how and why you should implement these virtues into your life and what happens. And obviously, the purpose of life for us is to open our energy centers, is to raise our vibration, is to be this fully sovereign human being. And the virtues is your shortcut, your Jacob's ladder to enlightenment. So we're so happy that we can have this gnosis and this knowledge, and we've got these beautiful beings to share their incredible knowledge with us as well. And tonight, well, actually, so far we've done patience, charity, diligence, and temperance. And tonight we are going to be talking about kindness. So now kindness is less, like, it's more obvious than, say, temperance, but I'm sure that is just like the tip of the iceberg. So yeah, I'd love to hear from either of you your kind of definition of kindness and what it means to you.
Are you able to hear us right now? I think we may have lost signal.
No, I can hear you. It's a little bit delayed, but I've got you.
Can you hear us still?
Yeah, we can hear you.
There we go. So, to be kind, and the resonance of kindness is to remove the identity block from the egoic mind of oppressing and control. It is to be free from dominating and having expectations of other beings and expressing yourself in your truest form. As you remove the block you will find that you become in love with everything and everyone. And this is how you set yourself free and continue to evolve yourself to become the original, all-seeing presence of God.
It's about like
Wow.
raising the consciousness of the individual and the collective consciousness. So to be kind and loving to all creation is how we actually reciprocate the energy. And then the system is heavily influenced by energy and the energetic karma that we've got attached to us. So if you choose the good or the bad, this is where the judgment day is when you end your game, is where you're going to be truly made accountable for the choices that you've taken during this journey that you're on. So to be kind and loving and to bring joy and balance to the universe as a collective and as an individual is what we're here to try and achieve. So the 11, the K, the balance.
That's the secret. See, to be kind is to be K in D, which is the balance. K in D is the balance in form. And this is what we're all trying to achieve. And we will be sharing how to get there and what we need to do to become free from the sins that attach ourselves when we are not kind.
So what we want to do is bring like togetherness and avoid the separation. I think there's a lot of separation going on at the moment with the virus and things like that, with the vaccines and stuff. And I think what we're trying to do is bring the collective together and in the kindness and the virtues, the virtuous steps to help guide beings through this difficult time as well, where we're finding that a lot of beings are confused and living in fear, and we just want to bring that separation closer together so that we can help raise that energetic field and all be as one again, instead of that feeling of fear and anxiety. Because a lot of beings, when we walk around without the masks on, some people sort of hide away and stuff like that. And to be really kind to people and show your emotion through your facial expressions as well, it really helps people stop living in that fear cycle that they've all been given by the media so much. So we're trying to bring that togetherness back and really raise the bar again for beings that feel like that.
Yeah, that's so true. Like, I think we are being divided. I don't know, I know you guys don't watch the news. I don't really watch it either, but there's a big thing happening at the moment, the division, the divide and conquer around the vaxxers and the anti-vaxxers. And it's almost like the two sides are being turned on one another. And so this is where kindness really comes into its own. But you're so right, Michelle, when somebody's wearing a mask, you can't actually see them smile. And then, that's how we interact with each other.
Yeah, I mean, they've said about the little children that have been born into 2019, 2020, they're struggling with expression at the moment because they're not seeing the facial movements of all the beings around them so much as what all of the little ones before used to. So they're really struggling. That a lot of them are kind of emotionless in their facial expressions, where they're not really seeing that and interacting in that way. So it's quite a shame for the younger ones that aren't receiving that kind of love, warmth and kindness in that way. So
wow, it's incredible, isn't it? Really incredible.
I think as well, if we are kind to others, we bring the state of presence from ourselves unto them. If we, for example, go up and we speak to someone without being kind, we bring an unconscious egoic reaction. So interacting through dialogue with other beings, you'll find that if you approach with kindness, you actually bring them to alert presence in that moment. And then you have a reciprocation of awareness and love in that moment with any being. You should use it as a practice to try to approach
So every single
kindness.
interaction you have with a human being, what you're saying is, approach it with a kindness standpoint almost.
Yeah, you see them as your brother. This is why the Bible verses are so key. But the Bible verses are actually development from removing these sins or the vices from yourself. So as we approach someone, if we approach someone without kindness, you'll see that they are actually not present. For example, if you go to a restaurant, if you still go to restaurants, and you go to the waiter and you speak to them without kindness, they'll not give you alert presence, look down at the paper and just write the form. But if you approach them with a smile, happiness and kindness, they'll snap straight into the alert presence and reciprocate that energy with you. And that's what it's about. You can do this with all life and you'll see that it reflects back upon you. But obviously the opposing vice, envy, is the oppressor. And this is what actually separates you from freeing yourself. So constant practice in being kind to everything and everyone. For example, just turning over the beetle on its back or helping the bee that's fallen over. This is going to actually raise your vibration so much more than anything could externally to you, and eventually evolve you to the state of self, free from the mental slavery, free from the mind and the egoic oppression that we have.
So
I think sorry, go on.
No, it's just a quick question, because I think, if people are listening to this, say, for example, you're in a situation where somebody has been unkind to you or has done something, you perceive them to have done you wrong. How do you then approach that situation? Because obviously the first reaction would be to kind of protect oneself or maybe to respond or react. So can you just talk us through how you would utilize kindness then to sort of shift and change that situation?
Yeah, see, everything is energetic evolution. If someone approaches you with lack of kindness and you're aware and you do know better, by approaching or reacting or showing that you are kind will actually smooth the situation itself, and you'll see that the other being will actually have a life lesson in that moment. So then they will have a thought form or an attachment to show them that they were wrong in that situation, and other beings are actually kind. And it was their programmed nature, their reactive ways that brought onto something, and you would actually get the being saying sorry. But if you don't approach it with kindness and you react from the ego, you actually create a reciprocation of this negative energy, and an escalation process starts. So it will continually escalate as far as you're willing to be egoic and identify and continue to react with the sin. You'll find that a situation can go from something that's small to very big, very large. So if we approach and, you could say, kill things with kindness, you'll find that you'll never be put in a bad situation. Life will always be your protector, and you'll always be guided by the truth, and never have anything escalate to a situation that could cause you any harm.
Amazing. Josh, do you mind just trying the camera for me one more time, just to see if it works?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. So kill them with kindness was what I heard you say. Hello, they're back. Yeah. And that's what an interesting expression, kill them with kindness.
Yes.
I always say cure them with kindness. The cure. It's the cure for all, isn't it? Because through the kindness it brings joy, and then that joy turns to bliss, and that's eventually where we're heading. Is we want to be in that blissful state as much as possible. The bliss is where we see balance and see peace and stillness in everything and everyone.
And in the word kill, you see the remedy, which is K-I-double-L, which is balance consciousness with the double L. And you'll find yourself loving everything and not killing anything.
Wow, love that.
Through the sin comes the discontentment and the resentment, and that's all in the mind. The envy and all of the sins come from all those thought demons. And if we live in that present moment that we speak of so often, none of those attachments can be there. It's just we are here, we are now, and everything's happening as it should be. And there's nothing wrong, that all the fear's gone, all the attachment goes, the anxiety, everything clears and there's a pathway to your enlightenment straight to the top.
So if we do go into envy, obviously that will influence our energy centers, sort of shut us down.
Absolutely. You know, if one is envious, all they're doing is actually creating the identity of envy, which is separating you from source, because source is all loving and kindness and virtuous. It's the idea of the personal gain that separates you. So to be envious of someone is actually to see something as if you have not, you are without. So if you feel that you are without, you create the vibration inside of you, which gives you the emotional content that makes you actually resonate as if you are without. But that's just a concept. And that's a form of thought, which is not true. It's a separation from the present moment, because you can never exist anywhere apart from here. But the mind will always try to create the drama and play, because it is our tool for the evolution. And that is the only thing we need to evolve. And the quickest way to it is the virtuous life, and presence is the key.
So for people out there who are serious about their kind of spiritual path, wanting to progress, you know, one of the things obviously we have to do is become in control or master our mind, basically, because otherwise our mind controls us. So why are the virtues really a key to enabling us to master our minds?
Because it's the pathway, or you could say it's the neurological pathway that creates a blockage within our being that's stopping the flow of cosmic energy into us. It would be the essence of duality in physicality, creating the separation from purity. And all things that are related to the mind and its concepts are freed by the virtues. The virtues are the freedom from the energy block attached with the sin.
So it's all the vibrational, isn't it? The vibrational balance that we need to create in order to raise that Kundalini experience. Because if we're not able to free that blockage, then we're stuck in that specific area that we're blocked, and then the vibration can't be freed, the energy can't be free to flow.
Right.
And this is obviously with the virtues how we collapse the ego and the ego attachment, because obviously you're literally kind of, you're taking control of the ego, and every time it wants to take control, or the mind wants to take control, you're basically using a virtue to kill it. I don't know if that's the right word, but
you could allow it to disintegrate. The dissolution is the real word. But as you progress and you reach a certain level of awareness, you see that if you are unkind, you go back and you contemplate that the behavior that come from you was unconscious and unkind, and you feel like you need to correct it. So if beings are at that level, just know that if you continue straight, no matter what the mind says, and progress, because just by being kind to everything and everyone, you can actually find yourself being dissolved with true presence in the moment, because you are so focused on kindness that is actually an entry into being so present that you will find that your freedom and ego can actually dissolve from just being kind to everything and everyone.
Wow, so it's really powerful then. So the stuff that you do on the karma with your beautiful beings, Eloise, is, everyone's got that karmic energy attachment, and I think that if you can release that and really step forwards into the virtuous path, then that's when you find the true release, and you probably see this a lot, as when beings get released from that karmic debt almost that their energies received, they can then move forward and take those next gracious steps towards that energy release. So it's really important to find that balance of the energy.
All is mind, and that's the key to everything. You see, what we acquire through the mind. We have the egoic mind and the cosmic mind of all things, and we can choose to live in the 10% of the left mind, ego, that likes to dominate and live in the oppressive nature of the sins, or we can free ourselves to this cosmic love that exists in any moment, that is free from attachment. I think we've lost.
I think no, I can still hear you, and I think what's so nice about the
Are we back, sister?
Okay.
yeah, I can hear you. Your camera's gone off.
I've got you, sister. There we go.
Here we go. Here we go. We're back.
Thank you.
Yeah. And what I was going to say about kindness is, playing with it and utilizing it and watching the impact of it. It's amazing how you just see the individual you're kind to grow and and light up, and they expand, and you can just see it before your eyes.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is it's alert presence that they actually come to, and we do it with little X. Well, he does it with everyone. Whenever we're out, we'll always say, "Hi, how are you?" And people snap from a state of unconsciousness to an unbelievable state of presence, and they're amazed by someone actually bringing them to that state. And it's everyone. If you just practice it when you go, for example, most people are going to be going to the supermarkets. But if you go to the supermarket and everyone you meet, you just be very kind to them, you'll actually see that you're snapping out an unconscious state to a present state. And then you can interact with them through dialogue properly and bring the best out in everyone. The key with the reverence, I would attach that to kindness, because kindness is also reverence, and reverence is also respect for all things, and to love all things. Love thy neighbor, love all creation, and love all animals. And really focus in your present state. If you can be kind to everything and everyone for a certain period of time, it will naturally fall into your being, and you will be free from the attachments of anything that will be brought forward from envious or the nature of just being unkind. And that will free you up so much. Your progression will be so exponential, but it's only found through your own practice. You will never experience what it's like to be free from energy until you take these virtues and put them into real practice, and you will see energy interaction in an instant, and you will grow in awareness more than you could ever imagine.
I got a beautiful Bible verse here about kindness, which fits in beautifully with what Josh has just said, that I'll read out quickly. It's Luke 6:3-5. Love your enemies and do good. Lend, expecting nothing in return, and your reward will be great. And you will be sons of the Most High, for he is kind to the ungrateful and the evil. So really it's about expecting nothing whilst giving, which we spoke about in a lot of the virtues before.
Charity,
if one expects something, there is a disappointment if they don't achieve it. So it's about removing the personal gain away from your actions, because the ego wants the personal gain. So it's very important that we give and we expect nothing.
And I think with the unconditional love and the unconditional kindness, even if someone's actually done something that you see as wrong or sinful, or they're still learning on their path and growing, they don't know as much as you maybe. It's about, respecting all creation and all life, so that we can have that abundance of energy reciprocation in the positive way.
Yeah, and I'd love to expand on what you just said about with no expectation, because obviously our egos are sneaky, aren't they? And I would imagine that as we start to play with the virtues and, we implement patience and we implement kindness, we're kind of watching the reaction. So I'd imagine as well that our ego will think, well, actually, hold on, what's going to happen here? But what you're saying is that we have to do that with no expectation. Because the mind will have an expectation that it will place on the situation, and obviously we're then just setting ourselves up for failure.
And also separation from love and bringing you into a state of duality with objective nature rather than subjective. As you are, if you are coming from the ego, all that's happening is you're your display, you could say, that the feed from the true reality is being fed to you through the mind, and that creates a separation from the true moment, which is such a wonderful place. So it's very important that we remove that, because if we do not, we are having a constant relay from the mind, which is always trying to gain something physical, which is stopping your true gain of the ultimate gift, which is being your God, as you are God. It's very difficult to be able to express that once you see separate from ego, you are embodying the true nature of God within yourself, and you see and perceive in such a different way, free from all of the desires, free from all personal gain, free from any expectation, free from all of these sins. And that's why it's so important that you gain control of the mind, remove all of these attachments, and take the virtues seriously into your practice, because if you do, you will find the road to freedom, find the road to God, see all of the truth written in the scriptures manifest inside your personal experience, and you will have a dissolution, an egoic death, and be in union with the at one meant, the atonement.
And the earth will flip upside down, and it will be completely different, won't it, for you? In
the
all
perception
aspects.
of labeling things such as bad and good is only created within the mind state. If one is present in all things, you see the beauty in everything. There is no judgment, because those that judge shall be and will be judged first.
All is one.
Absolutely. And of course, this higher mindset is to understand that everything's happening for us, not to us. And everything that happens has a higher meaning or higher purpose. We just have to stay in that vibration to understand what it is.
Exactly. And as we progress, it's the monkey effect. We progress the consciousness and evolution of all beings just by raising ourselves. So once we can have a collective conscious community that has transcended the ego, it will uplift the whole world.
Wow. And this is one of our goals, isn't it? This is something we've spoken about the vision for the Virtuous X Life program, and obviously, your Patreon community, what we're doing with the Dharma Life community. That is the vision, is to create these fully empowered sovereign beings to help balance the planet at the moment.
Exactly. The only work is done inside of yourself. All the external work is separating you from the truth. There may be a physical truth that appears to be very real. But again, if you're looking to exit, you must X it with the virtuous X, which means balance of the masculine and feminine energies, which is only found through this true or truth, by removing the identity and ego. And then the word leave again is L-Eve, which is to even out the L's, which are the L's in L-even, which is 11, which is the temple and the twin pillars. This is what the master builder should do. And this is when one will truly find this freedom, and it's only found by doing this great work.
The influence that we have on this energetic system as a whole, as a unity, is absolutely incredible. It's magic, it's true magic. And this is what we need to, create with all beings, is that taking these virtuous steps is how we're going to get to this state of, bliss and peace and balance and harmony within the earth, by raising that collective consciousness, which is what we're all here trying to do at the moment.
As beings progress, the state of experience progresses, because as one has transcended the certain level of experience, so shall the universe. So we continue to progress as unity, and we will become uniform in one form and progress in a new experience that is separate from suffering and duality, and is peaceful, and is just a whole nother level to what people are experiencing here. This is mental, it's all meant, it is all mind. So the work I'll repeat it, must be done by yourself through contemplation, meditation of each thing that's out of balance, by accepting situations and surrendering yourself to life as that everything that is happening to you, as we say, is for you. And this is what we need to allow the mind to see and to function. And we will find happiness in all moments.
And you know, what beings are looking for at the moment is this sense of connection, you know, and that you're guided and you're supported. And if you're living virtuously, you experience that, don't you? Because that the energy is reciprocated and flowing back through you. So never having to worry about anything because you're taken care of, because you're in harmony with the universe.
Yeah, you're balanced inside your own state. You know, one could drive down a highway, a motorway, and be in a very bad mood and, you know, beep at the wrong being and start doing gestures. Now, this is a form of escalation. And that's just going to continue to escalate. Then you get the road rage, and then you might find someone stopping in front of you. And these things only are happening because of the mind state. If we can become free from the reactive nature ourselves, just at the beginning of this stage, and see that it's actually our actions that's causing this out of balance or the lack of harmony in our lives. And all we need to do is try to bring presence to see that if we are actually acting unvirtuous, we're only going to bring the experience and the energy to give us lessons in life. And, you know, we are all aware that life is the greatest teacher, but we need not life to teach us. We can actually bypass the experience by being virtuous and see that we are actually the creator or the creative force ourselves and master this experience.
Amazing. And I can't see you, but Michelle, I'm sure you've got some amazing numerology for us this evening. Because
yeah, I don't know if hopefully the internet will hold out for it.
Yeah, I think it's all right.
Okay. Oh, the sun's
look at that.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
Is that all in
yeah, perfect, Michelle, perfect.
It's better. Okay, so the 95 today for kindness, and it's I and E. So when I and E are abbreviated for something, it's something that just is. So it's in its present moment, and it's to clarify a meaning. So if we take the kindness, for instance, we are all kind already, like through the heart space. We are all love, we are all patient, we all have temperance. So it's just bringing ourselves back into that present moment again. So whereas it's like the explanation of kindness is to be kind, we are already actually kind beings in our true essence. We have just had programs inserted that have taken us away from our true source or our true being, and taken away that purity and that balance to bring us into the sinful. So we're born into a life of sin, and then we have to climb back out of that through the Jacob's ladder and raise our energy and our vibration through the virtues, and then actually come out of that life of sin that we've been born into.
And that's duality. That's falling from the Garden of Eden. In the word duality, you'll see jewel, I, tai. So there's two eyes, two minds, a cosmic love and an ego identity. And what we must do is actually collapse the belief of the ego. And again, the only way to do this is by presence, love, kindness, virtues in all situations, to allow the mind to progressively see and fall into this state. Because for someone to completely snap into this presence, it's not really available to people in the Western world, or, you know, or really within this system that exists in this day and age. So it's really about the great work and really about putting your mind down.
Putting your mind down, yeah.
If we look at the vibrational aspects of the 9 and the 5, and we put them together, this is like the microcosmic energies of the, you know, the elements, the 5th element. and it brings life. And this is like the creation, like the Fibonacci. From the 1 comes the 3 and then becomes the 5, which is actually the golden triangle here. Yeah. And this is what makes up the pentad,
this is
5-pointed star.
This has nothing to do with the devil. This is to do with creation.
Fibonacci.
People do not really understand this shape, and they've just believed hearsay.
There is no evil. Remember that it's just a thought process or some program that's been inserted into the matrix to create that pull again, that push-pull situation.
See
this is actually the true.
This fits into this 3 times, okay?
This is just another example of how everything's inverted.
It was the original Trinity, the Holy Trinity.
Creation.
Israel mastering these things, becoming one with God again, becoming the creator yourself, seeing from the eyes of pure awareness, having full control over your experience.
And then if you add in this side where you've got the 3, 6 and 9, the 9 is being like everything and nothing at one time simultaneously, and it creates that spark of the magic and the magnetism incorporated with the microcosm. We create that magic within us, within our divine beings, and we project it out into our universe, which is where we can create that reciprocation of energy once again.
And if you see this symbol here, you make the X as you join it up, which is the masculine and feminine. But if you bring it down and merge it, you'll see you're creating the Freemason symbol.
Oh wow, yeah.
And then the G in the middle represents the 7, the projector of the realm, the God. You go around the alphabet once again, which would be the 2nd time, which would be the double light activation. You get 33. The G twice is 33, which represents also the number of vertebrae in our spine. And this is all correlated with self-enlightenment. Lucifer, people have feared this whole time because they believe it's the devil. Lucifer would be the light bearer, and Freemasonries are just trying to share this true cosmic experience. But most people believe and read hearsay and untruths and fall into the conspiracies. But again, conspiracies are there for a grand purpose, because one who is seeking externally for the truth is going to find themselves falling into a trap of conspiracy, which seems to be revealing truth. But actually you're uncovering lies and deception from the world, which is not necessary for your evolution. Your evolution can only be found inside of yourself. That's what we need to evolve.
It's another consciousness. It's a consciousness trap, basically. Anything outside of us is a consciousness trap.
But
taking
the
us off
ego
course.
Loves it. The ego wants to know. It wants to say that it has information, and then the power that it brings in the mind state makes one feel great because they know something that other people do. And then we also fall trapped in trying to share these things with our families, and those that aren't necessarily ready to even see the mistakes within the system. And then we create the also is an experience of pain body, which is showing you that you're on the wrong path. Because if you're focused on the love and you sit down at a dinner table and say, I found an unlock within my system, and it was being kind to everyone. And then I see that these thought forms appear when I'm not. And all I need to do to free myself up from depression or anxiety or bipolarism is actually just to be present in the moment and acknowledge that I have these thought forms, but I don't give them attention. And I keep bringing myself into this present state here, and then they cause me no hassle. And this is something that would bring so much light to everybody, and peace and harmony and conversations and real practice that everybody can do. And
so what you're basically saying, I think, is that obviously at the moment the temptation is to kind of want to wake up people, spread untruths, etc. But really what we should be doing is being the light and being the example, and actually sharing how, when we implement the virtues, how that changes our life. And then it's almost like bringing people this way rather than trying to kind of wake them up with with negativity almost.
Yeah, because the people that aren't ready to hear that, and they're happy in their bubble, the ignorance is bliss. They're happy, you know, go into the shops, maybe, you know, the generation of about 60 to onwards have a very simple program. And we try to help, we can try to help them by showing them the mistakes in the world and the faults in the upside down world. But again, it's a trap. It's a trap. You need to bring the focus and attention to yourself and evolve past the world. You rise above it. Do not love the world or anything in it. Give it no attention, no focus, because it doesn't concern you. You're protected forevermore as long as you direct your attention here.
So I suppose the question to ask there, and I think I know the answer, but I want you to answer it, is like, you know, because obviously at the moment, people are worried, they're fearful, they don't feel safe because of all this stuff that is happening, you know, and how would they combat that then? What we're saying is, by doing that inner work, you have this guidance and you don't need to necessarily worry about the external stuff.
If you're involved with the external world, this is where the information building comes in, because if you are watching the TV and you are listening to the media and you don't have any idea, then the rabbit hole that will take you on a journey through the intellectual pathway is to actually show you that the world that exists, that you have brought into your being, is not true. So that's one way that the information is packaged up, so you can actually free yourself from the belief that the world is serving you, which is again going to free you to a certain state of evolution, but you don't want to get trapped there. So you have to continually move forward and break free from your experience or your beliefs to then find yourself into this state. And that's one thing that we want beings to really see with us is, you know, we have evolved and gone through every conspiracy and every type of thing within this whole physical manifestation experience, but it brings us to the point of the real truth, which is this. You know, we can speak with anyone about anything, but it's not necessary. But if one needs to become free from, you know, believing that they, you know, they have to focus on the law, they have to focus on these things, then you know, we welcome that too, because, you know, there is a pathway straight to the actual real evolution, and this is it. There is no other pathway.
I think one of the main things that we teach initially is the reason that we do this is through the food, is because it actually cleans your vessel to be able to be more susceptible to feel those energies coming in, because a lot of beings that are more dense with the, you know, the meat and dairy and all the chemical foods, they can't feel those subtle energy changes, and then they feel like they're not connected to source, so they feel separated. But when we can actually clean the system initially, they feel like, you know, the weight's lifted, they lose weight, they feel a lot lighter, the light shines, they're vibrant, the density goes away, and then they can feel that subtle energy change, not, you know, not just within like communication or with other beings, but with the frequencies of the universe. Like for instance, when we get to the solstice, at the moment we're doing 7 days raw, 7 days fruit, and 7 days juice, and then we get to the solstice where the energy and the frequency starts to change ever so subtly. And this is where this is so important for us. Josh and I have been doing it for a while, but fasting over those periods of time, you can really feel the change, and you can't explain it to anyone, but when you actually walk through it, it's actually really such a great feeling of, like, you know, we feel so grateful, don't we, for
to live the experience that we've had is priceless. You cannot put it into words. You have to walk through it, and the experiences that you get, the clairvoyance, all the exchanges you have with life, and
this is what we want to share.
You can really truly see that this experience external to you is only energy, manifest in a physical nature through mind, and your concepts are limiting you. And as you said, sorry, about the fear, I just wrote it down then as we were speaking. You know, we either vibrate in love or fear. In the word fear, you can see fear, which is also a consciousness way of manifesting the word. The matter is F, and it comes in through your ear, your vibrational canal. And the only reason how fear exists is in your mind as a concept. Fear is never relative to your experience. It's only found
you
within
create it, don't you, internally?
Yeah. So by being present, there is no fear.
And if we think about everything comes down to energy, everything is energy and magnetism, that's when we can truly like free ourselves, because in actual fact, we are the infinite. Just having this experience here is, you know, the fear should be dropped, because there's nothing to be fearful of in the grand energy system. It's just a program that's been inserted.
Because it's still going to happen. But you see, this is where the cobra, if you listen to the word cobra, is Kobi Ra, which is to join the two suns, which is these hemispheres. But this is why this snake was so cherished and within the spiritual movement, is because it sees energy. And if you're calm and you're present with no fear around a cobra, you can just pick it up, hold it, be with it, do anything. But if it senses fear, as all the animal kingdom can do, then it actually causes it to feel like it's going to be attacked. So then you have a chance of it actually biting you.
You see that in,
find that with your dogs. Yeah, I was going to say your dog.
Even, you know, your dogs know who loves them and who's scared of them. They can sense it, can't they?
Yeah, and they react differently, don't they, to the vibration that being holds. So,
even you know, we have these five senses within ourselves, but they have even been taken from beings through the ill eating and the lack of you know, connection to the senses. This is something that, you know, as you start to progress on the journey of food, things start to become clear again. So your senses work, your lymphatic system works, your immune system works. You know what's poison. You know, you can smell perfume
chemicals
from a mile away, and you can know when someone's coming, and you truly are experiencing something on the next
chemicals.
level. You know, you this is why we for many years haven't been able to eat around anyone else's space, because you know we don't use any products. We clean with ourselves with vinegar. Sorry, not ourselves. We clean our food with lemon, bicarb, or vinegar on bicarb. And the chemicals that exist externally, you really know why. They have a government system of water, because that can't go back into the land. They reciprocate that, they clean it, add bleach to it, feed it back to you, and all these things are getting processed through your system, which is keeping you dense state.
We filter it through our kidneys.
Yeah, and people wonder why they're becoming ill. And you know, you can have a very extended life, a very wonderful experience, and you know, as your perception grows, you just need to see that you are not in your land if you're being given food by a corporation, and the place you exist cannot actually sustain life. So as you move to the fruit journey, this actually evolves within you, because you'll see that for you to sustain life yourself, you need these wonderful trees that give you this wonderful healing food.
And how long do you think humans can actually live for if they eat the way you're describing? No chemicals?
Okay, at least 150. At least 150. I think if people are pure in the mind state and they have no internal disease, as in the overthinkingness, which causes a massive prana drop, you'd be able to live into the 900s and the thousands. But
I think what we feel though as well, that once you've had your experience here, it's time to move on. So I feel like once you have reached that stage of the, you know, the virtues, the highest, you know, point that you can get to, you want to move on to that next energetic level, because you're ready. You've had your lessons here.
An attached.
A dense.
Yeah, of course, it's very dense. Yeah, this. And I've always thought of, like, not talking about flat Earth, but I've always thought of this as like a plane. This is a plane of existence that we live in, basically, and it's the densest plane. So that in itself explains, you know, what we're talking about with higher realms. Basically, this is the densest realm.
You drop the body, and it's a lot easier, because you know, to keep this body well maintained, you have to eat every day. You have to go to the toilet. You have to wash. You have to do all of these things, and that does become a chore. You see, when you become a certain or if you're in a certain experience, because you can find this anywhere as long as you drop the identity. But you can be in the Himalayan mountains meditating for 11.5 hours a day in a cave and come out just to use the toilet and to eat something to sustain the physical body, but yet go back in, shut the eyes, and then become one with this experience. So you can actually leave the body at will when you reach a certain level of awareness, and drop it as if it was a paper bag.
And can you explain, because obviously people listening to this, obviously we want them to come on the journey with us. So by joining the program, like, what is it that they will get to experience?
Well, an absolute increase in the evolution of their being, freedom, peace in their mind. If they're really great practitioners and they're putting it, with great concentration, they will become one with this infinite space.
And there's also those small steps that we spoke about before, Eloise, that a lot of beings on this journey tend to dive straight in and find it all a bit overwhelming. But what we've done is we've broken it down step by step and given them those small little bits to go and practice, and then come back and then go on to the next level. So it's like a step-by-step guide where they can really take those if they've completed that part, they can go on to the next, and then they can go back and revisit it and at a different level, at a different stage. And I think as little bite-sized bits of information that they can really that can really help raise their energy
and the energy that you feel as
inside.
You do one of these small things, you just unlock this abundant energy, and then you continue, and you just find this wonderful happiness. And it's even with the one small progression, if someone progresses one thing, even with the ego still existing, it brings this wonderful, powerful energy. So
changes
small progressions daily, you'll just see that life itself will start to pour in you, and all the energies that you could ever wish for are within you.
Like the guidance is there, isn't it? That a lot of beings get stuck on one thing. We find that if they find, say, something like flat earth, or the food, for instance, they're stick on that for a long period of time and
identify with it.
And what we want to do is raise them on as quick as they can, but in those small little increments where they can actually achieve it as fast as they can within their being.
Because all is atom is magnetism. Everything within this existence is created through this energy. When you direct your your true awareness, and you see that you study magnetism, say, I don't know, for maybe 300-400 hours, and you truly know what it is, that then has to be translated within your energetic form for your perception. So there's a positive, there's a negative, and there's a neutral. You have a plane of inertia being the neutral charge, and as it reciprocates, it just creates light. This is life, and it's just that simple. You can then go into all concepts again, but then
wanted to show you that one when Josh said that again.
Of course, balance.
This is the balance, the level, and that's what we're looking at. This 3, 6, and 9. And to reach that 144,000 where we get to that light being, this is the reciprocation of that energy.
All is numbers. See, the vortex mathematics is what actually creates this 7-colored torus map, and this is the perpetual motion that it creates this wonderful life. Pressure mediation, the inertia, the acceleration, and it's just this wonderful God matrix called Taurus. This is the Taurus. This is why Taurus is a bull and a Taurus is a bull, and the bull is BALL and a bull is BULL. It's all about the double L. It's all about the L being 12 in the alphabet, and then 12 being twa L, which is to twine the L's, as in 2 is spelled with TW, twin is spelled with TW, twin is to win. And this is all about joining these two energies to actually release light. And as you release light, you are pure. This is the climate system. And if we reciprocate, we actually see the word 8 is identical to the word light, just with a few extra lines. So these things are here for everyone to see. But as you progress, not only will you be shown new experiences, you'll be given your true, how could I say, your true expression. So slow and steady as you evolve, you're actually given things to evolve by this higher energy field, and you become yourself, which, you know, for me, language, as I would say I mastered the physical world, but where was anywhere to go? I got back to nature. I started being with the ground and planting trees when we first, you know, moved to Spain many years ago, and then being away from the busyness. I was in my contemplative state of mind for 2 years, about that was it. And I created this whole language, this whole system, this whole synchronicity, and through that, my own understanding, through the geometry and the sounds and the phonics of language, expressed itself through me to give me the answers I needed to see everything. And that will be handed to each and every one as they progress. So you'll have your own affirmations. You will not need any guidance when you reach a certain level. It's just helping the hand up, which is this virtue system.
And this is why we need to express our energy, our truth and our energy freely, because the moment that you get stuck in that block of energy, this is when it gets suppressed. So we need to make sure that with kindness and love and compassion, we need to make sure that we can spread that energy to other beings without being forceful or fearful. And that's when the energy gets freed, and not just in the individual, but collectively as well.
And I just can see it now, like this movement of people living virtuously, it's just going to have such a ripple effect across the planet, and it's such a simple teaching, really, isn't it? The sort of 7 virtues are simple concepts that we can grasp and simple concepts that we can integrate, which have a profound effect. Well done, Michelle.
You see, they're non-physical. So someone might direct their time because they feel like they want to lose weight or gain a bit of muscle or shape. They're actually creating this physical thing. So if one is truly directed to spirituality and they do this work, this is going to take you and break boundaries, and you will be the very thing which you seek. And as you said, what will you gain as well? You see, the ego gives you distorted vision. So you never actually experience life. You just experience the sight of the experience relayed through you through the mind, removed from all presence, from all true beingness. So you will actually find yourself becoming a human being once again.
Refinding ourselves, basically. Underneath all the conditioning, the patterning, and all the stuff that's been layered on top of us is this beautiful shining being that wants to serve and heal and vibrate. And that's what highly.
We've got to see that, Aloise, in everyone. What you've just explained there is actually the truth about every being. We are that already. We just need to uncover it, or take off like the onion skins, like we say, peel the onion skins back and get back to source and that true, pure, beautiful, divine being that we are.
This is why forgive those who trespass among us, because they do not know, and they may be children in their awareness, and they are just reacting through their ego.
Well, everybody's this, until we heal our inner child, everybody is reacting from their inner child. And, no wonder, when we've got all our energy centers shut and we haven't healed our inner child and we're just in our karmic reactions and we're in our shadow, no wonder the world is in a sort of sorry state, really. But this is why it's so important that we take our power back and do our healing work.
This is the purpose of this world for this moment. We need to evolve and rise above the world, not battle it, not become loggerheads with anyone or anything. Our freedom is at stake. And let's focus our attention and intention on ourselves. And when we raise our bar, so does the rest of this experience. You will see this as you progress. in every situation that you come across. You pull out of you're trying to find a car parking space, and you'll see that someone just pulls out in front of you for the car parking space. This is just a natural
You're in flow. You're in the flow of life.
Freedom. Your freedom is at stake.
But then you're just focusing on the joy, you're focusing on the gratitude, you're in that high vibrational place and state, and that, like we said, it's reciprocal, it comes back to you.
Exactly. You're trapping yourself with, you know, with it being sinful, and that's the only thing. You're creating a duality and a concept world, and you're causing yourself suffering by the thoughts that come from sin. And you must liberate yourself by acting virtuously, because when you act virtuously, you actually become free from the thought demons that come from sin. And that's the key, because thinkingness is actually causing the suffering. And as we remove the suffering, we become more clear. And over time, this slow progression that we have, we are just released from all of the world's weight on our shoulders, which brings a level of peace, a level of evolution. And if we continue to progress and we really focus, you will find that thing which you've been looking for. Truly, the true freedom is not from a corporation, government. You're already free. It's just your belief in the government that actually makes you feel oppressed. Turn off the TV, turn off your eyelids, and see what's going on inside your internal workings and your dimensions that exist in here.
Turn off your eyelids.
Remember, you have to lose your mind to find
Free
the
your
soul.
soul. Absolutely. Well, I have to say, I thank my lucky stars every single day for you two, and I feel absolutely blessed and so grateful to have you in my life. And I just think it's an incredible time on earth to be doing this work. And I know the vision that you guys have got, I totally concur with, and I'm very proud to be part of it. And
we love you.
Yeah, I love you too. It's, you know, it's just I can't. And I think once this gathers pace, and like, as in, it's just going to be incredible to watch it unfold. So I just, you know, feel so thankful that our paths have crossed in this lifetime.
Again.
Yeah.
This is the last one.
We are all here to free up this this karmic debt that we have, and to progress to something so much lighter and less dense than this physical experience. We will be taking everyone on a wonderful ship to heaven.
So that is our invitation. If you're listening, well, if you'd like to come on a ship to heaven,
yes,
we would love to have you.
The heaven craft leaves at 7.
Yeah, we've got a deadline, but you're more than welcome to join us at any point.
It's always about the E and A, and that's why the word heaven has the E and the A. It's joining these two energies. It's masculine and feminine.
Let me show you one last thing before we go.
I got lovely goosebumps then when you said about going to heaven.
Oh, the A and the E, the first two vowels, the 1 and the 5.
The 1 and the 5. Phi is the 1, as 1 is the phi. It's the phi ratio of the phi cycle physical world we live in, and we must become the phi-loss ciphers, the ciphers to lose phi, to find the true experience within the ether field, which exists for all of us.
There's all a map.
In the word peace, you'll see PEA, which is the light of E and A. In the word heaven, in the word creator,
water.
It's all to do with the E and the A, and EA Sports is in the game.
Fantastic. Thank you both. Incredible as ever. So lovely to have you. It's just nice to know that you're in the same country. I think that's really wonderful. And we are going to be back in 2 weeks. What's our next virtue?
We should do chastity, I think.
Yes, that's a great one. Abstinence, chastity.
Chastity. Excellent. Okay, fantastic, guys. So the 21st, we will be back with our next virtue, chastity. If you want to join our waiting list, I've posted the link, virtuousxlife.com. You can join the wait list, or you can join us in the program now. We would love to have you. As we said, we are going to be going in a spaceship to heaven. So we'd love all of you with us.
Yes, please. And this is just to create this movement further, you know, and we're given everything here that one can practice, but there is obviously a step-by-step implementation for everyone to be able just to put into practice, whether they are conscious of it or not. And they will see these gifts manifest for their experience, and freedom will just become a part of your day-to-day basis. There is no greater practice than the practice of virtues, and there is no love like this.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Right, guys, that's everything we've got for you this evening. Thank you, everybody out there, for joining us. We love you. We appreciate you. We're so happy to have you with us.
Thank you so much.
And we will see you next week. Not next week. We will see you in 2 weeks on the 21st of June.